Good Sunday morning, or perhaps afternoon, or maybe even evening when you're watching this. Welcome back to the show, and some exciting news we have. But first, will you join me? Let's pour some of the fresh stuff. And are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Happy Sunday, people. Nice. So I guess it's unavoidable right now. Let's jump in. Alex Thomson over the night reporting a structural problem to the boat. I read up on pretty much everything there is right now, and so far no definitive news on what the actual problem may or may not be. Of course, one thing that seems obvious and possible is some kind of a structural issue with the mast, as we already saw Coran drop out of the race with a broken mast, and many of the boats, at least 8 of them, have the same mast, same design, same supplier, etc. So of course they're all concerned about that, and maybe it has something to do with that, or maybe not. We really don't know. What I do know is that if we look at the tracker right now, very worrying to see. So at first Alex had slowed down, but right now he's basically idling, with the speed of 3 to 4 knots, which is probably basically the current out there, and as far as direction also. So he seems to be free floating at the moment. So very curious what's going on. They said they would come with an update later today, but so far no exact time or anything like that is known. So we'll see what happens. It's really sad to see, because he was in such a good position. But on the other hand, if it's something they can fix, then it's better if it happens right now than almost in the end of the race, and maybe he'll be able to come back. It seems maybe fortunate, because right now both of the leaders, Apivia and Linked Out, are really starting to battle the epic size and complicated doldrums that we talked about yesterday, and which is still going to be continuing for the next 2-3 days. So maybe, possibly, if whatever issue there is can be fixed within that time, then hopefully he will not drop back that far or have that much to gain back, in a sense. But I guess we'll see what happens. Also some exciting stuff going on Linked Out, on the boat of the leader tonight, because apparently Thomas had a problem with one of his halyard blocks in the top of the mast, which made it impossible for him to change and use some of the sails, especially in his downwind configuration. And reportedly he made a climb up the mast tonight to fix that, and succeeded in that. So he should be fully capable to sail any way he wants again from now. And that was an issue that apparently he had that from the start. So that wasn't a recent issue, but it's something that he was already living with for a while, and now running into doldrums. So hopefully he'll have a chance to, or he already had a chance, I guess, to fix that. Now for the regular viewers, and especially for the baggers, you might notice my spiffy new lavalier mic here. I'm now wireless, so I can walk around anywhere, which is really nice, and will be really great for making the sailing videos on board, like yesterday, where I can just roam around freely with the camera somewhere and explain things. So that's very nice. Thank you all very much. And you can see that I'm a little bit dressed nice today, and I'm in the gallery right now, because on Sunday I often work in my gallery in The Hague. So I just put a nice piece behind me here. Hope you enjoy. And let's get into the weather for today. Now, not much has changed. In fact, it's only kind of gotten worse. So right now they are about here, and as things progress, so this is the moment right now, and this is what the rest of the day looks like. And you can see that this ridge is really moving to the east quite fast. This is midday tomorrow. And then, as you can see, especially to the west, this giant kind of zone around here, it has really, it keeps, in every prediction, it keeps kind of becoming bigger and bigger. And as we move to Tuesday, as you can see, the size of the doldrums below that, it also just keeps getting larger and larger. So this is not really great for any of the people in the race right now. And if we take a look at the tracker real quick and add the weather in here, then you guys can see, let's zoom out a little bit, that yeah, that whole, so it's a little bit more subtle in here, but you can definitely see it. And so looking at the distance, we see that basically they have about a day and a half more of beautiful, pristine sailing. And from that moment on, it's they're just going to run straight into a wall and then another wall. And some people suggested that, you know, with the speed of the foilers, they might be able to outrun this and sort of get ahead of it. But as far as I can see, I don't think that's going to happen. So they might be just on the edge, able to get into it before it really widens. And then, you know, kind of skip most of the first one, but the second one, you know, it's inevitable that all of them basically are going to get stuck in that on some point. But the first one, they might just be able to avoid. But at the current speed, I just kind of calculated, and it seems like they're both just gonna miss it by a hair, and so they will end up, you know, around more or less here somewhere at around the time of this prediction. So this is Tuesday around the start of the day throughout midday, and yeah, unfortunately we can see that from that moment on it really starts to grow in white, and it kind of moves also, worst of all, in the direction that the sailors are moving into, so it's kind of going with the fleet a little bit, which only makes it potentially worse. And you know, the width of the whole system is about 2 days travel at you know, 18 or 18 to 20 knots. So think about that distance, and then, you know, think of them going maybe 5 or 6 knots on average, maybe 8 or 9. That's easily, you know, potentially going to stretch out this part of the race from, you know, taking maybe a day to, you know, taking potentially 3 or 4. And that's, I think, very, very real. And I think that for the most part, that's just what we're going to count on. And it only makes the breakage on Hugo Boss kind of more interesting, because what's going to happen? Is he going to be able to fix it? Then he might be able to just move right back into the fleet and battle his way through there, might completely negate the new advantage that the guys on Apivia and LinkedIn now have, or they might be able to move just through it. And that's another real scenario where we see both Apivia and LinkedIn just get ahead of this system and being able to kind of really make a run for it. And then all of a sudden we could see that, you know, these two boats may build up a lead that is, you know, 300, 400 miles or something. So I guess we'll see what happens, but the next 48 hours or so will be really, really crucial. And then I thought I'd also talk a little bit about something that there was a press moment with Alex Thomson yesterday. He was doing a Q&A from his boat. It was pretty long, it was like half an hour. And one point that came up, which is asked about a lot in the channel here, which I thought was interesting to talk about a little bit, is the top speed of the boat. So somebody actually asked Alex, you know, what the top speed of the boat was, and if he'd reached it already during this Vendee Globe. And Alex actually kind of spilled the beans. I mean, this was kind of already known, but the highest speed on the beast that they reached so far was 38 knots. So much, much faster than the speeds that we've seen so far. Of course, we have been talking about the fact that he's been holding back. And by the way, this is not just Hugo Boss. I mean, most of the new boats, so that goes for Linked Out, that goes for Apivia, that goes for many of the other boats, they can do, you know, Initiative's Cur also, I think, reported a top speed of around 34 or 35 knots. So most of the foiling boats have the capacity to go this fast. The problem is that, and this is also something that Alex addressed during the presser, is that it's just hellishly uncomfortable, and of course very, very risky for the boat, because it really flies and slams over the wave. So the fact that they can reach these top speeds really doesn't mean that it's in any universe a good idea to actually run them at these speeds in any you know, sustainable long-term way. And so I think that the speeds that we've been seeing so far, average speeds of 22, 23, sometimes 24 knots, that's basically what we're going to see all the way through the race, and then maybe all the way in the end we'll see you know, if if they go for broke and say, you know what, if there's a chance to make it and actually kick it up to 30 or 32 or something like that, if they have favorable conditions for that, we might see that right before the finish, if anybody wants to kind of throw a Hail Mary and see what they can do. But it gives actually a pretty good perspective on that, and I don't want to give too much away, but probably in the show on Tuesday or Wednesday, so that's 2 days from now, 3 days from now, we're going to dive into this topic also a lot more. I'm not going to say with who yet, but it will be interesting, so stay tuned for that show. Then back to the American. I said that the Te Rahute, the new boat from Emirates New Zealand, was launched a few days back, and yesterday night some early footage came out, filmed kind of from a distance, but still cool to see where the boat is actually hitting the water, and looks pretty impressive. So I wanted to you know, show you that also to help us all get more excited for the America's Cup as well. And yeah, that was kind of my topics for today. It is Sunday after all. I think we all have things also to do outside, right? But I really hope that you enjoyed the show again. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you want to become a backer, help me, you know, improve the show and do more interesting things like what we're going to do 2 days from now. Please go to the website seawolvestv.com and become an official supporter. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys all, and you know, more to come very soon this week, so be on the lookout for that, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Have a great Sunday. Oh, and of course, so this beautiful painting behind me is for sale. It's by an artist called Michel Port, and it's part of his series called Love. So it's about 195 by 120. Very beautiful, very colorful. So if you're interested in that, just send me an email.